Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Friday and welcome to the Pagan Housewife. We are continuing our series of the elements, and this week we're looking at air, the elusive element of air, and how it affects our household and how we can make use of it to our advantage. Like the other elements, air has both physical and magical properties, both of which matter in a pagan household. Now, of course, you might say it matters in all households, which is true, but a pagan household is much more likely to actively appreciate its importance and the role that it plays. On the physical level, air is something we don't actively notice until we feel the effects of it. In many ways, it is something we take for granted with every single breath we take. But on a hot day, who, do, who doesn't enjoy that strong breeze that just takes the edge off of the heat? And then in winter, we dread the smallest whisper of air because it adds to the chill. And storms, storms. We experience the most spectacular physical manifestations of this element, and its energy is absolutely invigorating, if, dangerous, at least at times. Now, magically and spiritually, air is the element of the intellect, imagination, and dispassionate intuition. It can cut like a knife to force us to acknowledge truths or drift along organically as we make discoveries that try to teach us something. Air is also tied to communication, and that can create and destroy with equal power, as most of us have experienced firsthand in our own lives. Within the household, naturally, we have a need for air to sustain our lives, but that isn't the only role that air plays. Remember, this is the element that is tied to ideas and the structure we live in, how it was built, how we've arranged the furnishings, the colors we've chosen, even the cleaning routine. These are all the products of ideas, and ideas fall within the purview of air. The relationships between people in our household are also closely tied to air because we are all operating on how we think things ought to be, our ideas of how relationships should work, and blended with how those relationships have also developed in our experience about what has made things better and what has made things not so good. And this holds true whether it's a spouse, a roommate, sibling, parent, child, or even our pets. To a lesser degree with the animals, of course, but still, it is a factor. Of course, our bodies rely on air to function, and there's all manner of houseplants that are believed to purify the air in the household. There's also benefits from just opening up the windows when the weather allows for it. There is something about the fresh air blowing in from the outside that is absolutely restorative and cleansing. And also, when we meditate, breathing exercises are a key component of that practice, and that cleanses our energy. Spiritually, there's just no getting away from the element of air because spirituality is all about ideas and principles and what we learn from them. And this work takes place within the realm of air to a large degree. The element of air is ephemeral. It's always there, yet somehow just out of our reach. We can feel it, but we don't register touching it when it's still. But it is indispensable. It determines how we think things ought to be run within our homes. And we'll start with mundane tasks, decisions about how often things should be cleaned, the order in which that cleaning is done, how to prioritize the tasks. These all relate to the mental aspects of air. And whether we make sensible decisions about these things will determine whether or not our homes are running smoothly or if they are falling apart at the seams. And when we do get it right, it adds another layer of comfort if that routine we've developed flows well, it isn't burdensome or neglectful. Caring for ourselves and families relies on healthy communication. Problems cannot be solved if there's no understanding of what those problems might be, or if no one is honest enough to acknowledge that the problems actually exist. And having a healthy family requires intellectual integrity, also making use of the element of air. The spiritual well-being of the household relies on air. The dispassionate intuition I referred to earlier in the video can be likened to the gut instinct of an investigator. It's when you know something is off kilter and you try to track down what's at the source of it. But this isn't emotionally driven. It's a mind that's fully engaged and tuned in. It's an analytical process, which of course is again ruled by air. So hopefully this has gotten you to thinking about the element of air in your household and how these things do have a relationship. And maybe you'll even start thinking about how you can make use of this so that you're drawing upon these natural energies. They're around there anyway, but now maybe you can direct them a little bit more effectively depending on what your own personal circumstances are. But that will do it for the element of air. Next week, according to the schedule, we'll be looking at fire, my personal favorite. Hope you'll be back for that. In the meantime, let me know what you think of this in the comments section below, or come see me on Discord at Blackbird's Brew. There's a link to join in the description box below, and you would be very welcome to be among us. But that'll do it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.